Hi, everyone.
Hi.
How
Hi,
are we
Sam.
doing? How are we doing?
Good.
Okay,
Good.
it's a beautiful Sunday today. Heck
Gorgeous
yeah.
day.
Gorgeous. All right, so welcome to group. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Can you guys see the screen? Oh, now you can see the beginning. There we go. All right. You guys can see it? Perfect. All right, so welcome to the Women's Health and Abortion Rights Group. I'm so glad you guys all could join me today on this discussion in this group. So I just want to kind of reiterate beforehand, we're going to work this just like a group. We're going to do a lot of discussion. I don't have a lot of material to present to you because I want it to be more of like a group discussion, right? So the purpose of our group today is gonna be to create a safe and respectful place to share knowledge, perspectives, as well as resources on women's health and abortion rights. So we'll have a lot of discussion. And before we get into that, we're gonna do a quick icebreaker. So I want you guys to take a minute and think about when you hear the phrase women's health, what is the first thing that comes to mind for you? Um, and I will go first. And I'm gonna say when I think of women's health, I think of the word lacking. Oops. I'm just gonna kind of let you guys unmute and kind of go for it. I don't want to put any pressure on anyone to speak, so I'll kind of just let you guys
You
unmute.
stole my word. That's what I was thinking. Lacking, definitely not enough research
Yeah.
for sure.
The first word that popped into my mind was abortion.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think just because that's like a hot topic
Mm-hmm.
right now, um, as an issue when it comes to women's health.
Yep.
The first word, oddly enough, that popped in my mind was a pap smear.
Oh,
Like
okay.
mammograms and pap smears is what I could think of.
Yeah.
So
Valid.
yeah.
Valid.
Very valid.
The first thing that popped into my mind was actually birth control. A lot of insurance companies are really weird with birth control, and I've had so many issues like over the years with that. So that's something that just came to my mind right away.
Yeah. All right. All
Well,
great answers. Makes
can
sense.
I say something?
Go
And
for it.
what I kind of comes to mind too when Morgan said like pap smear and mammogram, they're painful. And men do not get the same treatment that we do. If men had to worry about things getting clamped
Hmm.
and pressed and prodded and spread out, they would
Hmm.
change the way that it was tested, is what that's how I feel.
Hmm. Yeah.
Painful. Mm.
All right. Well, thank you guys for sharing. All right. So we're going to get into a couple of ground rules and norms. My biggest thing for our group is to create a safe space. Confidentiality, obviously. Whatever we share here stays here. You guys know the deal. If you threaten to harm yourself or somebody else, then we have to break confidentiality. Respect, right? Let's listen without interrupting each other. If you have something to say, click the raise your hand button or just raise your hand. Um, all voices matter in this group. Time awareness. We only have 20 minutes. Keep the comments brief. Um, and then I like this one, right? So openness. Disagree with curiosity and not hostility. So the topic of women's health and abortion can get, pretty heated. Everyone has their own opinions on it. So, just keep that in mind if we don't have the same opinions. And then obviously, muting yourself when not speaking so we can minimize background noise. Does anybody have any questions regarding any of the ground rules or norms? Perfect. Okay, so key information. In 1973, there was a Supreme Court ruling, Roe versus Wade, in that the ruling was abortion is a constitutional right, based on the right to privacy under the 14th Amendment. So some of you, probably all of you know about 2022 came around, and the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. States now decide on abortion laws individually. So that's up to the states. I have a slide here that shows each state, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I wanted to give you guys that key information for discussion in a few minutes. According to the World Health Organization, abortion is essential health care. Restrictions, right? When access is restricted to abortions, unsafe procedures happen, right? There's an increase in unsafe procedures, and then health outcomes as well for women worsen. Access varies by state and policy, kind of like I just said. Access to reproductive care depends heavily on where someone lives. And then abortion rights connect to the larger picture of women's health, right? Preventative health, kind of like Natalie said, with birth control, pregnancy, as well as mental health care. So here is the visual that I wanted to give you guys. So all states are on here, color coded. So green is expanded access protected by state law and additional policies, offer further access to abortion care. So green, good, right? Well, in terms of if you're for abortion. Yellow, protected, but with limitations. The peach color is not protected. So although abortion care may still be accessible, it is unprotected by state law in those peach states. The light pink is unprotected by state law in states expressed a desire to prohibit abortion entirely. And then you can see the red is illegal. So abortion is entirely banned and enforced with criminal penalties. So all those southern states down there in the red, it is illegal, and you could face criminal penalties for seeking an abortion. So I want to stop talking for a second and get your guys' feelings on this picture right here. Feel free to unmute and kind of we can kind of just discuss thoughts, comments, concerns.
I'm actually like shocked by some of these states being hostile. Like for me, Arizona is shocking to me for some reason. I don't know why, because they have a lot of like legality when it comes to like marijuana and stuff. A lot of times when you see that, you also see these other laws kind of coincide with them, like that it's okay. But also like I can understand Utah actually, but um I am a little shocked about Arizona for some reason. To me, I thought that was kind of strange. But that and that there's only 20 states that are kind of like entirely safe. That's less than half.
Yeah.
Yeah, and looking at Pennsylvania, there are neighbors.
Yeah.
How scary. And it's sad that it's almost like, okay, what state do I want to live in? what is going to be safe for me? I mean, I don't have to worry about abortion today if I had to have one, if that was my choice. But that makes me concerned for my daughters and my granddaughter. Where could we live that's safe? Oh, I see Hawaii. I'll go there.
Yeah.
I
It's-
was just thinking similarly, looking at some of these states that I visited before or that I have considered moving to someday. Um, this visual, at least for me, makes me second guess that and kind of rethink. And just it's a great realization of how important it is to know about this kind of information before making a huge life change and moving. I mean, I think I would feel really uncomfortable and unsafe in any of those red states. Um, and I don't want to offend anybody in the group. My goal would never be to have an abortion. I don't think anybody goes into that experience, uh, willingly. Um, but if there were ever a situation where I was raped, I would need that comfort of knowing that I would have the option of being able to have an abortion.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of what, the whole reason for this discussion, I feel, is that, I mean, look at some of these states. In the red states, right? Like illegal. So like you were saying, Paige, if somebody were to get raped, if, you your life was on the line or the baby's life was on the line, in those illegal states, I mean, there's no excuses. Like there's criminal penalties. Um, and I think that there is something to be said about that, especially us as social workers in our career, um, working with vulnerable populations, right? All right, so I'm gonna go to the group reflection part here. Um, kind of get a little bit more into some discussion. I want you guys to take a couple seconds, look over these questions for me. And let's kind of just discuss, right? The topics, how we can support informed conversations about these issues in our social work field. Um, how these topics connect with your own experiences. We are all female in this group. I would be interested to know if our feelings or our viewpoints would change if there was men in here, or the men's viewpoint of it. So just a couple seconds to think about these questions, and then maybe we could just have a quick discussion on these questions. Um, and throw around some ideas.
I was really shocked also with the Northeast, like Maine and New Hampshire. Usually those are progressive states and more open. So I was surprised to see that they were not green.
Yeah.
That really stood out. And when you think about all those red states, some of them would allow women to leave the state, and there really isn't much around them to be able to run to anyway. And if they don't have the financial piece to leave the state, women are going to die. It possibly. That's a huge concern.
Or babies are going to be born to families, moms that, you know, don't necessarily have the means to afford those kids, and we are just repeating cycle after cycle. uh in I mean, it's sad.
Like we
Um,
haven't learned. We haven't learned from past experience.
no, it doesn't seem so. So how about how this connects with like our own experiences and values, right? So we're all women. I mean, I guess it connects that way. Um, if you guys feel comfortable sharing, you could share if you have any experiences, um, stories, maybe how you feel personally.
I mean, I was just going to share that I have had 3 people that I know that are very close to me, that have had abortions, and none of those 3 people took the situation lightly. It was never a reckless decision or a decision that they took on their own. They did include other people, the fathers, and other people in their immediate circle in the decision. And I think that when a lot of people discuss this topic, that there is a stigma or stereotype that women are irresponsible with birth control, or that there's women out there that are relying on abortions as birth control. And I think people will find like 1 or 2 stories that fit their narrative of what they think is happening, and they'll hold on to those couple of stories as their reasons for being against abortion and things that are similar. And I think also just based on other previous groups that we've done before, I've noticed that, you know, healthcare for women, healthcare for minorities, healthcare for members of the LGBTQ community, there's layers and layers of problems in all of those healthcare systems. But not to say there aren't any issues with men's healthcare. Obviously, I'm not a man, so I wouldn't really have as much knowledge. But it seems like the only healthcare that is consistent and 100% for the individual is men's healthcare. So that sucks as a woman.
Yep. Yep.
I agree with Paige about like how people hone in on like 1 or 2 stories and they use that for like the basis of all their opinions. I feel like that kind of ties into question number 3, like how can we support informed conversations? I feel like just like giving people the overall like statistics, not just focusing on like 1 or 2 exceptions. I think that would like truly make people like open their eyes and be like, oh, okay, like that's not really what's happening.
Yep.
I would have to agree with Paige too about like I have people that I've been close with. Like I had a friend when we were 19 have to make the decision on what she was going to do. The only difference of that experience is like Paige's sounds like they were in connection with the father in making that decision. My friend did not do that.
Mm.
She had lied to the father and said she miscarried and stuff because there was a bunch of religious barriers of that. So that was a really interesting time for myself because I did not agree with her making that decision without telling him the truth. I felt like that wasn't fair in that moment, and that was like really conflicting for me. So, and I feel like it's such a black and white, like people turn it into such a black and white topic when in reality it's all different shades of gray. Like it is not black and white. It's based
Absolutely.
on situation, it's based on scenarios, it's based on all those different things. And I think we tend to forget that. Because I can tell you there's not a lot of women in their 3rd trimester coming out here and getting abortions unless they absolutely had to for medical reasons. And granted, even in that moment, you really think they want that decision? You really think they want to go through that mentally, emotionally, physically, even? No. So I think that's where a lot of the wires get crossed, and people are like, well, it's just not right. Well, you know what else is not right? Someone dying when something could have been done to fix that, when it could have been
Absolutely.
prevented. So, but yeah, that's kind of my perspective. Like, I think there's a lot of gray, and you have to take it case by case.
Well worded, Morgan. Well worded. It pretty much sums up all of it, right? It's not black and white. It's just not. There's many shades. So I just want to leave us here with one takeaway from this discussion. Who wants to have a takeaway? Does anyone have a takeaway?
My takeaway is that we need, as social workers, to just continue to spread the knowledge that we have and educate.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for your time and your voices, and sharing with me, and the rest of the group. I hope you guys can keep this conversation going beyond, just this group, especially in your careers. But that's it. That's all we got. We'll see you guys, next week.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
And